Hey everyone, hope everything is well and welcome to part 2 of the Python web scraping tutorial. On this one we are going to scrape real websites with the requests library. So I'm going to simulate this against a website that is going to search for job advertisements, and I'm going to bring all the jobs from a specific website that their main skill requirement is Python programming language. And I'm going to write a program that is going to pull the latest published job advertisements from a specific website. So it is going to be very interesting. So let's get started. Alright, so one of the first things that we must do is to ensure that we have the request library installed. So I'm going to go down to my terminal, right in PyCharm, and I'm going to write here pip install request just to make sure that I have the request library installed. Now the output for myself could be different than yours because you may not have the request library, but since I already have that, you can see outputs like requirement already satisfied. Okay, so it is quite important. Now I'm going to minimize the terminal and right here import requests. So you want to make sure that you do that after the installation of this library. And the first thing that I'm going to do here is to use the get method of the request library. Now what request library is doing behind the scenes, it is just requesting information from a specific website. So it is like a real person going to a website and requesting some information. Okay, so you can go with something like the following when it comes to request library. So it will be requests.get. So you want to get specific information from a website, and here we are going to provide an empty string for now, but later on we are going to complete this string with the URL that we are going to web scrape against it. And I'm going to assign this to a new variable and I will call it HTML text. So I'm going to make that to be equal to this entire statement. Now let's go to a web browser and look up for the website that is going to include some job ads. Okay, so this is timejobs.com and this website includes job posts about almost everything. So you can simply go down here and search for some skill that you own. And then this will search for you jobs that are requiring this specific skill in that position. Now this video is recorded a couple days before when I uploaded it, so if you watch this video after a couple of months or even a year or two since the publish date, then there is a great chance that the HTML elements are going to be quite different, but the main point of this video is to teach you all the tools to pull information from a website just as you want, and then you can apply your own customizations and kind of doing a reverse engineering to the code that I'm going to write throughout this tutorial. Great, so let's go here and write Python. So I will receive only job posts about this programming language, and you can see that we have this job found over there and we have a lot of jobs that are published. So my goal here in this tutorial would be to, let's get this closed. So my goal in this tutorial will be to bring all the jobs that are posted a few days ago. So if I am zooming here in, then you can see that we have posted a few days ago for a couple of posts. But after I reach down here, we have posted 4 days ago. So this might mean that this job post is not the most updated. So I'm going to bring all the jobs and I'm going to condition my program to bring those elements with the posted few days ago text only. So let's go back to here. Now I'm going to bring this URL from here and I'm going to paste that in the empty string that we created inside the request.get. And once I have done that, what is going on inside this variable right now is simply the request code status. Okay, so if I'm going to print if I'm going to run this program, then we are going to see the results like the following. So 200 is the convention number in web that the request is done successfully. But in order to avoid the status code, we are going to go to here, and I'm going to accept the text only. So I'm going to go here and then write dot text. Okay, so this is what we have to apply here in order to bring the HTML text of that specific page. And now it makes sense to leave this variable name as it is because it is storing the HTML text. And I'm going to rerun this program, and we will probably receive a large information of HTML. So right now it is not quite relevant, but I just wanted to show you the results. So let's continue from here. Okay, so as you know, we are going to create a BeautifulSoup instance like we did in the previous episode, and I'm going to provide the HTML as the HTML text variable. So it will be soup equals to an instance of a BeautifulSoup, and then I'm going to write here HTML text as my information that I want to scrape, and we are going to use the same parser again like the previous episode, so it will be LXML. Now, once I have done that, it makes sense to go back to our page and see how we can grab only each paragraph from this website. So the white boxes are kind of a list of elements that this page has provided here, and I want to look for a method that is going to bring me all the job posts. So it makes sense to catch a certain element inside that post and right click on it and then click on inspect. And once I have done that, we can see here, so I'm going to zoom in things a little bit. So we can see that the h3 class is pointing to that text over here. I know that the text is a little bit small here, but just you can see that it has a gray mark. And I'm going to go up here, and then you can see that those elements are opened up as well. So if I hover my mouse here, then you can see a green background wrapped in the article over here, I mean the paragraph. And then if I close that up, you can see that we have a lot of clear fix job -px and something like that, that its name is the class. And our HTML element here is called li. So li stands for list, and then you can see that it is inside a ul tag. So this is standing for unordered list, and it is containing a lot of list tags inside that ul. So you can see once I close that, then the entire list of all the posts are marked with a blue background. So I'm going to search the element of li with that name of class. So I'm going to copy the name of the class here, and I'm going to go back to my PyCharm, and I'm going to write here jobs equals to soup.find_all, and I'm going to search for all the li's, and as the second argument it makes sense to pass here class underscore equals to, and then inside that string I'm going to paste that in, the class name that we have copied from the page itself. So once I have done that, then we will probably see the results of all the jobs in that page. Now, this doesn't mean that it is going to bring back all the 16,000 jobs, because you can see that this page is being paginated. So that means that it is going to bring the results only for the first page. So this is not going to take extremely long. Now, if I go back to here and paste the jobs, then let's see the results before we continue on, just to make sure that everything is okay. So we can see that we receive the results, and then we see that we have some company names, and I think that everything is quite great here. Now, in order to work with this scraping project, it makes sense to only work with only one job element. So I'm going to delete the underscore all from here. And what this means, it means that it is going to bring the first match that sees the li tag and then the class name as this string over here. So let's change this variable name just to job for now, okay, just in order to develop our program slower, relying on only one job post. Okay, so once we done that, we probably want to search for the company name of that specific job post. So I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to make things bigger over here. And now let's actually go here and try to inspect what is going on here again. So let me zoom that out. Great. Now I'm going to try to inspect this text over here again. And then we can see that it is inside the li tag for sure. But we can also see that it is inside an h3 tag and it has the class name of job list comp name. So I'm going to search for that class in the entire page as well. But speaking about the entire page, so let's go to our PyCharm. You want to search for that specific element only inside the job itself. So you see, it doesn't make sense to search for an h3 tag in the entire page again. So you can basically go with job.find besides soup.find because we want to search for that h3 tag only inside our job. So if I go ahead and print the job here, then we can see that it only includes an HTML code about only one job. And I'm going to search for this h3 tag. So let's create here a new variable and I'm going to call that company underscore name. And we are going to use job.find. And we are going to accept here as an argument the h3 and then this time the class underscore is going to be equal to whatever this h3 tag includes as the class name, which is the job list comp name. Now to debug this out and to ensure that the results are great, we are going to print the company name and then you can see that we receive this element back and I'm going to use here the .text method just to bring back the text itself. Now once I do that, we are going to see a weird result here. Now you can see that we have some white spaces. So we kind of want to replace our white spaces with nothing. So in order to do this one, I'm going to go here and I'm going to use the replace method, and this trick is going to avoid having these not necessary white spaces. So I'm going to replace the spaces with nothing. So I'm going to just write here double quotes twice, I mean single quotes twice, and once I have done that and rerun our program, then you can see that the result is going to be quite different. As you can see, this text is fully aligned to left. Now let's minimize back and continue from here. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit the code here, just so we can see the important points like the replace method, and let's continue from here. Now it also makes sense to bring the skill requirements other than the Python programming language, because we know that this job is only for people who are good with the Python programming language. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to repeat myself in the same process again, and I'm going to write here job.find, and we are probably looking for an element that is including a text about the skill requirements. So let's search for that. Okay, so let's go back to our website again, and I'm going to go here and check out what HTML element is including the skills. So we are talking about this one. So I'm going to inspect inside here, and we can see here that this text is inside a span class with the class name of SRP skills. So I'm going to copy again this class name, and that time I'm going to search for the span elements inside my job post. So I'm going to go back to PyCharm again, and I'm going to write here span. So this is the HTML tag that we are searching for. And again, I'm going to write class underscore equals to that SRP dash skills. Now I want to ensure the results over here once again. So you always want to quickly print the results of whatever HTML element that you want to pull to see what other methods you have to apply to prettify your result. Okay, so let's run our program again, and it makes sense to delete the print company name. So let's re-execute our program. And then you can see here that we have some span tag, and then here we have a strong tag, which is basically created to make our text bold when we want to type in something. So I'm just going to guess here that I'm going to only write here dot text, and then I expect for the results to be fine. So let's check out for that. And then you can see here that the results are quite great. So we have the Python scripting, and then we have some more requirements that are divided with commas and a lot of white spaces again. So I'm going to apply the same method of dot replace once again like we did with the company name. So let's write here dot replace, and I'm going to replace white spaces with nothing. So let's re-execute that out, and then we can see that the result is quite like we want. And now we were also able to grab the skills as well, so this is quite nice. Now, if we want to display a nice information about the job until now, then we want to go with a nice print message here. So let's try to create a nice message. So we will use an F method here, and we will also use the triple quote method just to allow us to write some text in separated lines as well. And I'm going to write here company name like this, and then I'm going to write here company name. So I'm calling the company name value by writing it inside a curly brackets, and I'm going to repeat the same process for required skills. So it will be required skills, and then I'm going to make that to be equal to skills variable. And now if I go and execute our program, let's see if the results are quite nice. Yes, so we kind of receiving a nice information about the job info. Okay, so this is quite great. Now, if we go back to here, then we want to search for one more element. So you remember that I told you that we only want to grab the job post with the text of posted few days ago. So we for sure want to write some extra code to apply this functionality. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to inspect for that element again. And then we can see that it is inside a span once again. But I can also see that this job post including some more span tags. So I have to filter out the result again with the class name itself. So I'm going to search for that SIM posted class name, and I'm going to go back to here. So we will write this time job published date. So it makes sense to delete the job, excuse me. So it is just going to be published date, and I'm going to go here again with job.find, and we will search for the span, and then this time the class underscore is going to be equal to the text that I just copied. And I'm going to repeat myself with printing the published date, but that time let's just avoid printing this print line. So I'm just going to comment out those lines, and let's see what the published date text is looking like. And you can see that we have here something a little bit weird. So we have the span here, and we have also one more span inside of the text of it. So what that means, it means that we have to take some different action than what we did previously. So this time I want to search for the attribute of span just to get inside that tag over here, and then right after it I want to look for the text of that span tag. So this will give me the published date of this specific job. But I'm not going to include the published date inside my print message, because we only want the published date for the functionality to stop our execution if the published date text is not including the word of few. And I'm going to code this functionality just in a second, so you will see what I mean by what I said. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is take a tricky action that is going to bring me all the jobs from the first page. So if we paid attention, then all the job posts, including this class name, So what I can do besides the find is change that back to underscore all and change this variable name to jobs. And I know that just now it just raised an error here. And I'm going to use here a for loop that is going to iterate over each element. And I'm going to write here for job in jobs, and then I'm going to create an indentation of the entire code that is right there, so the results will be applied for all the jobs that are posted in the first page of the web page that we scrape. So once I hit here the colon sign, then I'm going to create an indentation for each of our lines like this, and then the results are going to be quite the same. So let's test that out. Okay, I'm going to uncomment our print line over here, and just for comfort reasons I'm also going to print here an empty line so we can kind of see a division between the different jobs, and then I'm going to delete the published date for now. So if we execute our program that time, then we are going to see a nicer results, and this is going to contain all the job posts from the page that we scrape against. So you can see that we have a nice paragraph for that job post, and then we have also another one here, and if I keep scrolling up we can see a lot of them in that output. So this is quite great. So if you remember, we wanted to filter out the job posts that are not including the word of few inside the published date, because what that means, it means that this job could be outdated. So if I go to our page again, then we can see that as I keep scrolling down we have some text like posted 6 days ago, and I wanted to filter out only the jobs that are containing the text of posted few days ago. So in order to apply this, I'm going to change the orders here a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to cut this searching here, and I'm going to paste that in as the first line inside my for loop. Now the reason I'm doing this, it is basically because I don't want to continue on scraping for that post if the published date is not matching my condition. So it makes a lot of sense to place this code as the first line inside my for loop. And then right here I'm going to write a condition that is going to check if the word of few is inside that text. So it will be if few in published date, and again I'm going to create an indentation for the entire code here. So you can do that with the Shift Alt combined, and then you can just press tab and all the lines here are being indented. So right now if I go ahead and execute our program, then we should see the results again like almost the same, but we also see here that the f string is not quite nice, but I can live with that. Okay, so it is great that we were able to receive the posts only that have been published few days ago. Now there is no limit for what you can do when it comes to web scraping and what you can filter in or filter out, but basically this program deals with how to grab some job posts with the filters that you want to apply that maybe sometimes may not be available from the website itself. So you can write your own filtrations on your Python code while you scrape some information from a specific website. Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will leave a like and also will consider subscribing to my channel to see a further uploads from my channel. So I hope to see you in my third and the last episode of the Python web scraping tutorial as well, and see you later.